Good morning.
Morning.
Happy New Year. Um, we're having a little delay with some of the technical stuff over here, but thought I'd start anyway, because there's some things I can do without that. My name is Ken Sarwinski. Actually, I'm your new president, if you didn't know that. Thank you. And since we're not ready, I'll just tell you a little bit about me. I've been a member of this club for 22 years. I think I joined the day I closed on my house. Computers have been my job and my hobby since I was 21 years old. I worked for 30 years at Triton College in River Grove. I was the associate director of information systems. I was in the Army for 3 years as a computer programmer. I was a computer tech for the association for a couple of years. I was the technical director for the Huntley radio station for 10 years. So I've been a lot of things with computers. And I love computers. I got so many computers around my house, and my house is all automated, and lights and everything is automated. I mean, Alexa is always telling us what to do. So he's still having trouble. I don't know what else. Well, I was the vice president of the club, probably in 2005 and 6 maybe. It's been a good club. When I joined the club, I think we had about 250 members. We've grown a lot since then. I've got the actual number in my slideshow if we ever get to it. Yeah, did that thing switch off and then plug it? So I have plans, things I'd like to do with the club. I'd like to see us offering more classes on a lot of different topics. So actually, I was talking with a prospective member on Tuesday night, and she was saying that she's not sure how to do some things with the computer. And okay, well, maybe we need to go back and offer an intro to computers class. We haven't done that for a long time. So that may be something we'll try and offer again. And then I could see us doing classes on like 3D printing. I did the session in May on 3D printing here. I had a 3D printer running. I now have 7 3D printers at home. It's addictive. But there's a lot you can do with 3D printing. You can design things. There's a couple things that I've designed and printed, and so if I taught a class even on how to design some things, or how to download models and maybe make them ready for printing, and then put it on a flash drive, and you can take it over to the library and they'll print it for you. So we don't necessarily have to have a 3D printer in our computer lab, because 3D printing is rather slow. And another one of my passions is home automation. So I know I did a presentation some time ago. And I've done a presentation here, I think, maybe 3 or 4 times on home automation, automating your lights and other things in the house. And I did a class one time at Huntley Library. So that's, like I say, another one of my passions. I can get on my phone and I can control everything in my house. It's fun, but it's useful. And my wife even likes it, so that's a benefit. Okay, I'm killing time here. Sorry.
Hey Ken, what
Yes.
is your opinion on the new Alexa? Have you heard that one?
The Alexa Plus?
Yeah.
I'm using it. I like it.
Good.
So far, I have my. I'm still unsure about all of the AI stuff. I use Copilot a lot, and I like it. It's helpful. I was diagnosing a computer problem one time, and I was using it to try and find correct drivers that Lenovo couldn't help me, Intel couldn't help me. So I'm on my own. And so I was using Copilot, and it would tell me I'll do this and this and this and this. And I do this and this and this and this, and it didn't work. So I go back and I said, that didn't work. I came back and said, yeah, sometimes it doesn't. Thanks a lot. But for the most part, it's been pretty helpful. But that was one that nobody could help me. I could not find the right video driver for that laptop. I had the exact same laptop with my own, and it works fine. I cloned my drive and put it in there, and it didn't work. Something about that computer, so nobody can help me. I just found the driver that worked for basic stuff, anyway. But artificial intelligence, but it remembers everything you tell it. Like last month, we talked about medical information or something. I would not put any medical information into artificial intelligence. It remembers everything, and who knows where that data will go. And that's out there forever. So who knows if they're going to sell that information to insurance companies or what might happen with it. Last Sunday, I sat down and thought, well, heck, I've been using it for quite a while. I said, what do you know about me? He gave me a little one-page summary. And I said, well, go deeper. So I said, okay, I can do that. Okay, that's okay, it's getting interesting, keep going. And kept going, and I ended up like I copied it and pasted it into a Word document. And I've got like a 13-page Word document, and I said, finally, okay, that's enough. I thought I saw something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, a question on that, then, because recently when I went into ChatGPT, it came up with a window saying, would you like to know what we know about you? And I would have wanted to, but I didn't have time. So did you find out anything about you that you didn't know?
Did I find out anything about me that I didn't know? No, not really. It was all pretty positive stuff, which I felt good about. But it does know about my diagnostic capabilities, because I dig deep into things that most people don't. Like trying to find the right drivers for that computer.
It's working and
Oh, okay. So,
her cord died.
oh, report. Okay. But yeah, so just try it sometime. If you've been using it for a little while. If you haven't been using it and you say, what do you know about me? Well, it's not going to know much, if anything. But if you've been using it for a while, just say, what do you know about me? And see what it says. You might be surprised. Okay, here we are. Welcome. Monthly meeting. This is my first time putting together the whole meeting. So please silence your phones. Really, silence your phones. Thank you. We say that every time, but there's always somebody phone ringing back here. Agenda. I already did the new presentation introduction. Treasury report, membership, computer club matters, classes, and the teacher presentation. Okay, new president. We're going to be reorganizing some things. We're getting some new equipment in the lab. We're going to get new desktops. They'll be a little different than what we've got. So we're going to get rid of those glass tops and get involved in glare. And some newer, faster computers. But I want to use those computers too. So I want to offer classes using those computers. So maybe some photo editing. Maybe I was at the photo city last night, and I talked to them about maybe some of them might teach a class on photo editing or making electronic photo albums or something to deal with photos. And they seem pretty positive about that. So yeah, I want to use that lab a lot more, because I see that lab empty, and that bothers me. And thank you for everyone who volunteers. I mean, this club needs the volunteers, and we've got some really good volunteers. They're good, dedicated people, and that helps a lot. Believe me, if we can depend on the people that, I didn't have to worry about the donuts today. We got a good crew taking care of that, thank you. And a lot of the things now. So, thank you. Yeah, this is something, Happy New Year, 2026. This was artificial intelligence generated. I spelled everything correctly when I asked for that. And that's what I got back. Well, no, the first one I got back was 2024. And I think it did say something about that. Yeah, while creating this slideshow, I asked Copilot to give me a few PowerPoint backgrounds for the new year. It gave me 3, and one was for 2024. So I said, get with it. The new year is 2026, not 2024. It responded, you're right, and I'm with you. It crossed into 2026. You caught it immediately. Classic Ken precision. So it knows that I'm a stickler for precision. So financial report. I've only been president for a couple of weeks, and I haven't had a chance to really dig into the finances. I was just talking with our treasurer this morning, and I'm meeting with him tomorrow. I looked over our chart called annual financial report, and I don't fully understand that yet, but I'm meeting with Doug. This is not going to be the normal financial report, but I don't want to report something that's not right. So at this point, I do know that our December checking account balance is $21,646.10. We do have 3 CDs that the treasurer just told me that 2 of them have been cashed in, so we have the money available to purchase the new computers that we're going to be putting into the lab, and to purchase the new desktops and some accessories that we need. So you'll get a better report next month. But at least we know we've got money. Our membership, as of the end of the 2025, we had 1,369 members, which is a better increase. I remember it over 12,000. At one point, we were over 17,000, or 1,700, I'm sorry. So 1,369, it's growing. So, and maybe if we're offering more classes, maybe that'll grow even more. I know John doesn't like that, wherever he's at. John Sterling, and he's always, we got too many members. But obviously, we don't get too many at a meeting. That's a good attendance, though. This is the general stuff. General meeting, second Thursday. I didn't silence my phone. Not disturb. For a couple hours. Oops. Sorry. Yeah, this is the standard stuff. I hold Mondays and Thursdays from 9 a.m. to noon. Not going back over there after this. We'll have to talk about that at the board and see what we're going to do about that. I've got some thoughts. I don't know if it would be possible to change our Thursday lab to Fridays or something, so there is no conflict with this meeting ever. I don't know, but we'll talk about that. But what I do want to emphasize is the new full lab sessions on Tuesday evening, 6 to 9, and Wednesday afternoon, 1 to 4. So if you come and it's busy on Monday morning, which we were pretty busy this last Monday morning, and everyone came in with their problems that they've had for the last 2 weeks that we were closed. But we hardly had anybody on Tuesday night. And then I heard yesterday afternoon there was hardly anybody at that session either. So we need to get people to use that more and maybe spread out the load. and be less waiting time for you. The Apple Group, this is fairly new. I don't know if everyone's aware of this. It's changed. It's meeting on the second Tuesday at 2 p.m. in the computer lab. And the photography group hasn't changed. It's still meeting the first Wednesday at 7 p.m. in the lab. And I was happy to be able to attend that last night. That was and good attendance. And it was a good meeting. I enjoyed it. So if you're into photography, stop by the photography group. Computer club classes. This is letting you know about, because people sign up for the association's classes for $5 or whatever, and our classes are free. We don't charge anything. There's no registration. You just show up. Remember to bring your passwords just in case if you're working on something. If it's a phone class or something, make sure you have your sign in and other passwords you might need for any questions you have. These are the classes that are upcoming. We've got 3 Android phone and 1 Apple phone class. Now, I want to see a lot more than this, and not just phone classes. I want to see other things that, I remember years ago, I used to see people excited coming into the lab for a class. I don't see people excited coming into phone classes. So I want to change that. And that's about all I have for the main announcements. And our main presentation today is passwords, passkeys, and pins, staying safe in the digital world. Now, I'll admit that I have general knowledge of passwords, no problem. Passkeys and pins, even. I know pins seem pretty simple, but there's got to be more to it, because they say it's more secure than passwords. So this was a learning experience for me. And of course, you got to start out with some kind of a joke. Now, we do rely on digital accounts more than ever. Every website you go to today, they want you to sign in. They want you to create an account. They want to keep track of what you do there, so they can send you emails and just try to better advertising for you, I guess. Criminals tend to target weak logins, though, and I know there's a lot of people that use the same password for everything, and that really bothers me, because I know I started doing that way back, and then that's not a good idea. Why not? Because if somebody gets, well, I think I have something about the passwords was an early form of security. Now, years ago, it was the user ID and password. But user ID, people would forget what user ID they created and used on a website, so then they have to contact the website and have to go through some kind of procedure to let them know what their user ID was. And so it was a lot more work for the people running the websites. So they said, well, all right, we're just going to use email. Everybody remembers their email, hopefully. But that weakened security, because your email address, everybody knows your email address. That's half of your security. So now all you have is the password. And if you use the same word every place, well, now it's really weak. Because if somebody on a harmless website, or if somebody, a criminal is out there and they want to get your passwords, they'll create a website that's, best game site ever. And all they do is just list a bunch of games that you can click on and play games. But you have to create an account maybe. And you put in your email and your password. Well, if you're using the same password everywhere, now they have your everywhere password and your email address. So they can say, well, let's see, what else? Amazon? Well, maybe let's see if we can log into Amazon with that user ID and everywhere password. Hey, that works. Let's order some stuff and just have it shipped to us. So using the same password everywhere is not a good idea. Now, many websites are using a two-factor authentication verification for more security. Now that's where, like I think every financial institution is doing this now, where you log in, you put your, some of them have a user ID, some, I don't know, financial institutions are using email. But you have a user ID and a password, and then they will send you a code to your phone. And so when you set up your account, you have to give them your phone number, your cell phone number. Text messages don't really work well with landlines anymore. It used to work with Comcast, but not anymore. They send you a code, and as long as you've got your phone, you get the code, you type it in the computer, they check, yep, that's the one we sent you, and they know that that's you, unless somebody else has your phone. So, but that's, the chances of that are slim. So that's the two-factor authentication that people are, am I not talking close enough to this? So that's a lot of institutions and a lot of websites now, even websites that don't need the two-factor authentication are using that just to verify that it's you. Now, the most secure two-factor authentication is hardware keys, like YubiKey and Titan key. YubiKey is something that it looks like a conventional flash drive. It's got special security software on there where you have to have this plugged into your computer in order for it to verify that it's you. And some of them even have a little fingerprint reader on them. So if somebody gets your user ID and password, yeah, they can try and log in, but if they don't have this, they can't get into your accounts. So that's one of the most secure ways. Another one is app-based codes. There's apps like Microsoft Authenticator is an app that you put on your phone that when you try to sign in, they'll put a number on the screen, and then you have to go into your Authenticator app and type in the same number, and then it'll talk back and forth and say, oh, yeah, okay, you put in the right number, you're good, you can log in. And Passkeys, it's a new standard, and it's replacing passwords on many websites now. And we'll talk about that later. Moderately secure authentication is SMS text codes. It's better, but there's still problems. There's ways of defeating that. And I won't get into all the details of how it can be defeated, but some of it's not that difficult. The least secure is email codes. Some of them will do this. They'll send you the 6-digit code to your email. Well, if your email and password has been compromised, and they try to log into your email with that, and they get in, well, now they've got your email too. So they'll get the 6-digit code, and they'll be able to put that in for, say, your bank or whatever, and then they can log in. So email is probably not the best way. If they give you a choice of text message or email, text message is usually the best. Now, password managers. And it really drives me crazy when people come in and you say, what's your password? And they pull out this book. And they're paging through it, and oh, no, that one's old. Oh, no, I changed that one. I'll try this one. No, that doesn't work. Oh, no, okay, you go further in. And the further back they go, the more current it is. They should start from the back and go to the front. So sometimes they can't find the password that works. So you got to then go through the change password routine. That's one. And the other one is that people just don't even know their passwords at all. The saddest one though was when some guy came in and he could not remember his password to get into his computer. I said, okay, I can help you. So, well, do you have a phone that, no, I can't get into that either. Well, is this your stuff? And he said, well, he said, I had a stroke and I don't remember any of my passwords. So that's an indication that, okay, you need to record the stuff somehow. So that if something like that does happen to you, someone can get into your passwords and access your information for you, or when you work your way through you come out of the stroke, you can get your passwords yourself, even though you don't remember them. Now, password managers, though, you need to have one good, secure master password. And it can be 10, 12, 14 characters. The longer it is, the harder it is to crack. Password managers, I've been using password manager for 15 years. And I've got over 800 passwords. So I couldn't exist without a password manager. But now these are some of the password managers that are in use today. Bitwarden, that's the one that I use, but there are other ones that I've seen, and I've seen recommendations for other ones, 1Password. I had a lady come in, I did a presentation here one time on password managers, and a lady came in and wanted help moving her stuff from LastPass into RoboForm, and RoboForm looks pretty nice. These are all, and people get scared by this, all your passwords are stored in the cloud. And, ooh, I don't know if I like that. And I was a little leery in the beginning too. So I started small. I just used little harmless website passwords to get used to it and see how it worked, and then I progressed. But and then you'll notice that I mentioned LastPass. It's not in this list. I've seen recommendations about not using LastPass. They were hacked 4 times. And the last time, somebody got their entire database. Everyone's user IDs, passwords, secure notes, everything. But LastPass said, yeah, not to worry. Well, yeah, it's not your passwords. They said, no, everything is very thoroughly encrypted. So I did some searching, and yes, it is. Now, what I found was your passwords are all encrypted before they leave your computer. You can go over the internet. They're encrypted 1,000 times. So it takes your passwords and scrambles them, takes that, scrambles it, takes that, scrambles it, takes that, and encrypts it. And then they send it out over the internet, encrypted 1,000 times. So even if you're sitting in Starbucks or someplace, if somebody grabs that, they're not going to make anything out of it. And then when LastPass gets it, they said they encrypt it another 100,000 times before they store it in their database. So they said it's going to be forever before somebody can crack that. So, but they know how to unencrypt it and send it to you, and then you don't encrypt it 1,000 times and they can use it. But they were careless, and that's the reason why I moved away from them. I used them for about 10 years, maybe more. But during COVID, they were working from home, and one of their administrators was using his home computer. And it wasn't just his work computer. He had games on there. And LastPass was solid. Nobody hacked into that. They hacked into this game, which allowed them to get into his computer, to get his password for LastPass. They got that, they logged into LastPass, and I got everything. So, you have to, and that's one reason why we tell you, don't use, like, if you're not getting security updates for Windows 10, don't use it. Because there's vulnerabilities in there that aren't going to be patched unless you're paying for it or you get a free extension. And other software too. If it's old and hasn't been updated in years, don't use it. You know, oh, my Word 2007 still works, so yeah, don't use it. So that's enough about LastPass, but I left LastPass because it's still good. People are still using it. But I didn't know if too many people were gonna bail from LastPass and they're gonna go belly up and then I don't wanna be left sitting there with nothing. So, I chose, there's a security podcast that I listen to, and two guys that, are very knowledgeable and really dig into the inner workings of all the stuff, and they looked at Bitwarden and they liked that one, so I went with that, but, and I'll talk later, I'll mention YouTube. You can go on YouTube and just put in any one of these names and you'll find all kinds of YouTube videos about, you know, each of these password managers, how to start using it, how to use it. So it's, they're all good, and they're all much better than your book of passwords. You know, I don't know, my book is at home, that doesn't do us any good. These are in the cloud, you can get to them anywhere. You can get to them on your phone, you can get to them on your computer, you can get to them on your tablet. So you can always have your passwords available to you. And this does show some of the best for the cost. And some of them are cost, but they're like $3 a month or something very, very small and very reasonable. And Bitwarden is great for beginners, very safe, that one password, very friendly design, great support. LearnPass, clean interface with autofill. Autofill is something that in a password manager you can put in your name, your address, your city, state, zip, phone number, all kinds of information. And when you get to a website, like if you're ordering something and they want to know your shipping address, you can just right click and say, oh, yeah, hey, Google form, fill this in for me, and there's your name, address, city, state, zip, phone number, everything you need. So they're really handy for things like that. And some of them even will save pictures. So you could even take a picture of your passport or your driver's license and store it in here so that if you forget your wallet, then I don't have, sorry officer, I don't have my wallet. Well, here, look, I can show you my driver's license. So it's good that they be able to do something like that. Now, there's a difference in cloud-based, and there are local and or offline password managers as well. And I used those long before I even started using LastPass. It's just a program you can install. You can run the program from a flash drive and store it on a flash drive so you can carry that with you. But again, if you lose that, or if it gets corrupted some way, you live in your pants, it goes through the washer and dryer, you know, it may get damaged and not recoverable. So there's dangers in that. You can have it on your computer, but then if your computer dies, all your stuff is there. But so the local offline, it was a nice way to go, but I prefer the online with the full encryption and everything. So advantages of using, you only have to remember one secure password. And then, as long as you can remember, and uppercase, lowercase, special characters, numbers, I know it's got to be a mix, but you can make it something that's easier for you to remember. You know, like just remember a phrase like today is Thursday. No, that's not a good one to do. I'm gonna say pick the first letter of each word, but that's probably not a good one. So anyway, you get the idea. Some phrase that you would remember, and just use the first letter of each word, and then mix in some exclamation, pound sign, and maybe a couple phrases. You put it all together. It's something that you can remember more easily. And then write it down and put it someplace secure, not under your keyboard or taped on the front of your monitor. No, someplace, put it in a vault, in a safe, someplace. So that if something should happen to you, some family member can get to that and maybe access all of your bank accounts or your whatever, your investment accounts. That's something that we really need to think about. You know, longevity, you know, passing this on. So you just write it down, keep it secure, and let somebody know where it is. Somebody, maybe a small safe that someone has the combination to. Something happens to you, they can get in there and they have, you know, car titles and other stuff, or a safe deposit box someplace. So the security, the stronger security and a password manager than your book or just little notes on your desk. Faster, smoother logins. When you go to a website, to a password manager, if you go to a website, your password manager is built in, it's added into your browser. It's watching what websites you're going to. And if it sees a website, it looks it up and, oh, yeah, I've got a login for that. Oh, there's a login, okay. Boom, it pops in your user ID, your password, and boom, you log in, done. You don't have to do anything more than that. Now, the first time you use it, you're going to have to type in all of your passwords. Not all at once. As you're using it, like you're doing it now, you bring up a website and it says, what's your login? You type it in. But your password manager is watching, and you click on login. Now your password manager pops up and says, oh, do you want me to remember that? And you say, yes. Okay. Now it's locked in there. So next time you come to this website, you'll look it up. Oh, yeah, I got one there. Boom, pops it in, login, done. It's much more convenient. Now, somewhere I may mention this later, your browsers will do that. But they're not as secure as a full password manager. They will store it somewhere on your computer, and it's in a less secure place. The password manager encrypts it all, and your browser may encrypt it a little bit too, but not as thoroughly. So I would stay away from that. You may not even realize that you've got some passwords saved in your browser. But if you go to a website and all of a sudden you're logged in, your browser probably is remembering that. So you go into your settings and passwords, privacy or whatever, privacy and security, and look to see, just in the search box, type in passwords, and it'll show you where your passwords are saved. And if it shows you some, you've got them saved there. And that's not as secure. You're better off with a password manager. Protection against phishing. If everybody remembers what phishing is, that's where you get an email that says, yeah, we're your bank, and we want to verify your credentials. Just click here and log in and let us know if your address and phone number and everything is still the same. And if you click here, it'll bring up a page that, oh, yeah, that looks like my bank. Well, you know how easy it is to take that bank webpage and copy it to another server, and it looks exactly the same. It operates exactly the same. So, but it's on my server, not on the bank server. And you fill it in, and guess what? When you click log in, that information isn't going to your bank, it's going to me. And I'm saving that. And then I'll go to your bank. Now, with the two-factor authentication for a bank, that's going to complicate it a little bit, but there are ways around that too. But with phishing, when you click on that link that you got in your email, and it brings up my web page, not the bank's, your password manager is going to look it up and say, no, I don't have that Ken.com website. So I'll say that I don't have anything, so nothing's going to pop in there. And that's the first clue. Okay, why didn't it fill that in? It looks like my bank. It should have worked. Now, there's nothing to prevent you from going into your password manager and copying your user ID and your password into my website and sending it to me. But don't do that. So, boy, I lose my train of thought sometimes. Yeah, so your password manager is letting you know that it's not really your bank because it didn't fill in anything. So don't defeat it. Just think about it a little bit and realize that, yeah, something's fishy here. I better not continue with this. Sync across devices. So yeah, I can get all my passwords on my phone, my tablet, and one of my many computers in my house. And it's much more convenient. And most managers can also store your credit card information, Wi-Fi passwords, secure notes. I used to use that a lot for when I was technical director for the radio station. A lot of secure notes and things that I kept in there. Recovery codes, identities, addresses for autofill, passport picture, like I said. There's a lot of things you can keep in a password manager that you can't fit in your little book that you carry around with you. Now, adding a password manager to your browser is pretty easy. You click on the three, this is the Edge browser. You click on those three dots up there, and this menu will drop down. You just bring your cursor down to extensions, and I don't know if you have to click or if it slides out. You click on Get Extensions for Microsoft Edge. And then it will bring up extensions page, which I didn't show you the whole page, but up on top of that page there's a search box, and you type in RoboForm or RoboForm Password Manager, and I just typed in RoboForm, and I see four results for RoboForm, and it came up with all of these. Now this one, well, that kind of looks close, but no cigar. Be sure to choose the correct one, maybe similar names. Click Get, and it'll load it into your browser. From then on, it's going to watch you sign into a web page and ask if you want to remember that login. Remember the web address along with the email, web address, the email address, and the password. This is the last time you'll have to type that login information. Now, in your browser, there's a puzzle piece in the top menu bar, and that's up here. If you click on that, it'll show you all the extensions or the add-ons that you've installed in your browser, and there'll be a little, you can disable things with a little switch, but there's a little pin there. If you click on that pin, it will pin it like that, so it'll stay visible on your browser. So if you want to, you don't usually need to, but sometimes it's nice to be able to just click on that and open up your password manager. So that can be helpful to pin it there. But otherwise, you forget, you add it in, and it'll be there. Now, how do you get started using it? Well, first of all, you have to create an account with whoever you create your password manager, whoever's password manager you're using. So if you're using RoboForm, you have to go to, it'll step you through it. You go to the RoboForm website and create an account with your master password, and then it'll be activated. So and you can test your password manager with harmless websites. You know, I started using that with the Huntley library and just things that are meaningless. If somebody gets that, I don't care. If somebody wants to check out a book in my name, then so what. But so and some of these I got from Copilot, the PBS, local newspapers, weather sites. Just some that don't mean anything. not financial information or anything, so just start playing with those, just to see how it works, get used to using it. And then you can progress on to getting a little update, and my email. It took me a while before I started adding it to my bank and my other accounts, but I've been doing it for 15, 16 years. And even though LastPass has gotten hacked 4 times, I haven't had any problems at all. And then and using these harmless websites, because we're testing your password creation, testing autofill. So when you go to the library, you go to the library website, a lot of them can fill in your library number. And okay, that was nice. That feels good. And then testing password change overflows. So if you change your password, you can go through that process, changing your password, and seeing how your password manager reacts to that and says, oh, I see you're changing your password. You want me to remember that? And you put yes. Now the one caveat there is some of these security codes that you get these 6-digit numbers that once in a while, I don't think it's every time, once in a while, you'll type in that security code and the password manager will come up and say, oh, it looks like you changed your password. You want me to remember that? No, because you'll wipe out my real password. So that's something that you have to be aware of. It may not happen all the time, or it may not even happen with all password managers, but in some of them it does. Now, if you want to generate a secure password, you're creating a new account and you want to make any password. Even if it's a harmless account, they have requirements. You know, some are uppercase, lowercase, numbers, or special characters. Well, in your password manager, there's usually something like this. How long of a password do you want? And it's showing you what it has generated already, just based on these parameters. And how many numbers you want in there, how many special characters you want in there. So you've got a lot of control over creating those scrambled passwords that you'll never be able to remember, but you don't have to. I've got so many passwords that look like that, yeah, so what? As long as this password manager remembers that, I don't need to. And you click on, you go to your vault, which you can see all your saved passwords. The generator is this. And if you're on 20, it says value must be between 5 and 128. These 14 characters or more to generate a strong password. So if you want a 128 character password, go for it. No, your website probably won't take it. And then you can uncheck or check whatever, because different websites have different requirements for how your password is constructed. So you can just meet those requirements by checking and unchecking these boxes. So I hated trying to come up with a password. And I can see why people use the same password for everything. Because it's such a, I gotta come up with a password again. But with something like this, hey, yeah, go for it. Now, browser password managers, I mentioned before. My browser remembers passwords. This is someone asking this. My browser remembers my passwords. However, password managers differ from browser password managers. Browsers will act much like a password manager, but will not store your passwords as securely. Passwords may not be shared across devices. So, unless you have the same browser on all of your devices, or maybe even if you do, not all browsers will talk to all of your devices. So you may be able to use it on your computer, but not on your phone. So, but a password manager you can put on all of those. And browsers usually don't offer to create secure passwords for you. So you still have to come up with a password on your own. Now, Passkeys. This is something, well, seemingly relatively new, but they may not be available in all browsers, or all versions of phone operating systems. I know my phone is, well, it's only about 3 years old, but it doesn't have the latest version of the Android operating system. And it may not be able to do passkeys. The operating system is very integrated with passkeys. So passkeys are a password-free way to sign into websites and apps using your phone, computer, or security device. You use cryptography instead of something you type, so you don't have to, you're not typing a password. Think of them as unlock with your face, fingerprint, or PIN instead of remembering a password. A passkey is made up of 2 parts, and they're not the same. A public key, which is stored at the website you're trying to connect to, and a private key that's stored on your device, your phone, your computer. Now, when you try to connect to that website, your computer and that website communicate, and the website will send the public key. Now, anybody can access that public key, and I'll give you an example of how that works later. Anybody out there can access that public key. Doesn't matter. You get the private key, and that and this, when they're mixed together, will come up with a yes or no, whether you can log in or not. And then you communicate to the website, yeah, you can log in. I have, not yet. Passkeys can't be phished. Because if somebody's phishing, you go into the website, well, they don't have the public key that you need, and it's not the right website, so it's not going to work with your private key. You can't be tricked into typing something into a fake site because you don't even see the passkey. It can't be reused. Each site gets its own unique key. It can't be guessed or stolen. So if somebody hacks into where your passkeys are stored, they can get all of it, and it doesn't matter. It won't do any good. There's nothing to leak in the data breach. They're tied to your device, your phone, your computer. It's not floating around in the cloud unless you choose to sync them together, to your phone, to your other computer. So it's not out in the cloud at all. Now, a simple version of how when you sign in, your device proves you are you, usually with Face ID, Touch ID, Windows Hello, or device PIN. No password is ever transmitted or stored. So you access your private keys. You just, your phone, you got Face ID, you just hold it up and your phone sees you and, okay, I'm logged in. So now you can access my passkeys because I'm logged in. Or if you put in the PIN number, or fingerprint reader. Any way that you identify yourself to your device, okay, now there's access to your passkeys on this device. So that's very secure. Unless somebody cuts off your finger or something like that. But no password is ever sent out on the internet, so it's very secure.
Ken,
Yes.
is that passkey only for your phone when you do it with your picture? Or can you have the phone take your picture and that logs you into your computer?
No. You got to have the passkey has to be on the device you're using. So if you're going to be connecting to the website with your phone, then you do this on your phone. If you're going to be using a computer, you do whatever PIN number, or you got a camera on your computer, just to unlock that secure area where your passkeys are stored on that device. Now, if you sync this device to that, then your passkeys will be on both devices, but you can't show your face on here and log into that. And depending on your ecosystem, Passkeys sync securely through iCloud, so iCloud Keychain on Apple, and Google Password Manager, Microsoft Authenticator, password managers like 1Password and Bitwarden and others. This makes them available across your devices without exposing the private key. And that private key is the thing that you really need to protect. And it's well protected. That's one of the reasons why Microsoft has forced everybody into Windows 11 and buying new computers that have the TPM, the Trusted Platform Module. That is where your passkeys and other security information is stored. So older computers don't have that. And they must have had some way around that before, and I didn't research that. But you were able to do some of the things that you need the TPM for without it. And even now, I've got computers that are running Windows 11 that probably shouldn't because they don't have the Trusted Platform Module, but some of these things still works, but it's got to be doing it a different way. Now, where can you use Passkeys today? Many major services: Google, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, PayPal, eBay, Best Buy, financial institutions. Many password managers won't remember those. Passkeys.
Ken,
Yes.
do you use the same PIN for all of those?
Well, you're not really using a PIN. You can. Well, you're not using it for those. You're using the PIN to get into your device, and then you're unlocking that secure area on this device, which holds the passkeys, making them available to log into those sites. If that makes sense to you.
Well,
Does that help?
no, because sometimes I go into,
Oh, I think I know what you're saying.
I go into different apps and they want my PIN number.
Yes, and then now, if you're on a Windows computer, whatever number that you've used to log into Windows, now that unlocks your TPM, where all your security stuff is stored. And so they want to double check that you know that you're not just somebody else that walked over and sat down at somebody's computer that's already logged in and you're going to access their stuff. So if you're trying to log into one of these, where there's a passkey, they're going to come up and say, what's your PIN number? Then you would enter the PIN number. You're not creating a PIN number for these. It's one PIN number for your computer. And you're entering that same one that you use to get into Windows. So that opens up that TPM area to get to your passkeys. So your passkey knows, okay, they know the PIN number to get into this computer, so that opens up that area, and now you can get to your passkeys. Does that help?
A little, yeah, because.
It's very confusing, I know.
It is confusing.
And for the most part, it's not something you really need to really know the inner workings of.
Okay.
But just that when it asks for a PIN number, whatever one that you've used to get into your computer is the same one you would enter to get to the passkey that they're looking for. Question back then.
Is the passkey a physical device that you use to put the information on your phone?
No, it's I don't know that I actually looked up the size of it, but it's just an encrypted key. It might be, no, it's not a hardware device. There's a hardware device on Apple, on Windows now with the TPM, that is where these passkeys, the private keys, are stored. So it's just like it's like a very complex password. It's a scrambled, and I don't know how long it is, but it's something stored in that area that will be used to verify that these two agree, and they're not the same, so they don't have to be equal.
How do I get it? Do I buy, I mean, you put up two, and I've looked online and I've seen you can buy a physical.
Oh, you're talking about the YubiKey?
Yeah, that you can plug into your phone and use, or into your computer and use.
Yeah, now that is, that's a hardware key, like the TPM is, that's built into the newer computers. But that's one that you can carry with you. But if you lose that, well, if you lose it, there may be a fingerprint reader on there that we need to verify that you are using that thing. Otherwise, if somebody else gets it, they need to go get into it. And probably not. There's got to be a way to lock that down. But no, so YubiKey is different than what they're using today. YubiKey has been around for a long, long time.
Any chance of, if you choose one of these, that it may not work with everybody else, and everybody decides what they're going to accept?
I mean, one of those password managers?
No, not the password managers, but the banks, the stores, the credit unions.
It's talking about the past.
Well, yeah, but it won't be offered to you if they don't. You don't tell them. You don't go to the Sun City website and say, I want to use a passkey.
Right.
No, the Sun City website has to be set up to accept the passkey and offer that to you. And then you say, yeah, use a passkey. And then it'll create the public and private keys.
But will they all be generic so that you can use whichever YubiKey or whatever the other one is? It's generic to, you don't have to worry about getting one of them have to change later.
Well, YubiKey is something different.
We had a really long class on that.
Yes. I don't want to get too deep because people are going to get. I see people are arguing with me because we're too deep in the weeds. So we're getting towards the end anyway. But YubiKey will remember
Can I just jump in real quick?
Yeah.
Don't get confused between hardware keys and passkeys. They have nothing to do with each other. Hardware keys were because PCs did not have the chip or the strength to do what the current passkeys are doing. And like Ken said, with the TPM or the, I think Apple calls it Apple Enclave, they have hardware in the PC that'll do the function that little key was doing, but it's keeping everything in that PC for you. So don't get mixed up. And one quick thing I want to mention that just so everybody here who has an Apple device knows, Apple is deprecating the name Keychain. They've been using iCloud Keychain for years and years in Mac. It was a wonderful password manager, but a little screwy, like everything. Nothing's perfect. And they have since, what they've done is they have taken anything referring to passwords out of a browser, Safari, you probably see on your phone or your computer. They've taken that away and they've created a separate app called Passwords. Passwords is a password manager. So just so you're clear that there is everything you need on there, if you're happy with that, you can always go to one of these other third-party devices if you want something initially.
Okay, so on passkeys, I was thinking about this and the public and private keys. I thought, okay, passkeys work like a bank safe deposit box. A lot of people probably have a safe deposit box where you have a key and the bank has a key. And you both have to get together and unlock that box. And that's the same thing with the passkey, except one key is on the website, one key is on your computer. You go to the bank and talk to the vault manager. They get their one key out for their vault, for all their security boxes. And then you have your key, which is unique. Their key fits any one of those boxes on their lock. There's 2 locks on every box. So their key fits any one of them. Your key only fits one. You put both of them in, you turn them, and open it up, and take your box up. You can't unlock it with one of those two keys. So same thing with the public and private key. You got one here, and they both have to unlock, and then, yes, okay, you have access. Public and private key cryptography is nothing new. It was first used in 1976. It has been used in the Unix and Linux operating systems for decades. It's just now being used for password replacement. Now, I came up with that thought, and then I thought, well, let me check this and see if Copilot agrees with me. I said, so Passkeys is kind of like a bank safe deposit box key system. I said, that's actually a really good analogy, Ken. And with a little tuning, it becomes one of the best ways to explain passkeys. And I said, actually, there are, and then it went on with more explanation, and it was saying, like, well, the lock is the public key, and your key is the private key. And I thought, well, I said, actually, there are two locks on the safe deposit box. The bank has the key, public key, the one lock, and you have the private key to the other lock. And Copilot said, you're absolutely right about how real safe deposit boxes work. And that version actually makes the analogy even better for explaining the passkeys. So that's a good analogy for how passkeys work. It's your safe deposit box keys. So the bank has their key, you have your key. You put together, you put them together, you unlock it, and you have access. Same thing with public and private keys. So hopefully that helps to clarify some of that. PIN numbers is a personal identification number. How a PIN works at the everyday level, when you enter a PIN on a phone, tablet, computer, a passkey prompt that we were talking about before, it does one thing. It locks a secure area of the device where your private keys or credentials are stored. That's it. Just makes them available. So the website and that can talk and agree on, yes, you can have access to that account on that website. So it doesn't authenticate you to the website, it authenticates you to your own, well, the PIN number authenticates you to your own device. Like I was trying to explain that Windows, you use the PIN number, use the same PIN number with if your passkey asks for it, it's to authenticate you on that device. So if you have a different PIN number on your phone than you have on your computer, then if you're working on your phone, you use that PIN number when it comes up. If you're on your computer and asks you for the PIN number when you're trying to get to your passkeys, you use the one you use to get into that computer. So that's now YouTube, I said this before, YouTube is your friend. In the YouTube search box, enter the name of your choice of password manager. If you're looking at different password managers, you can just type in the name and just see how many videos come up. You'll get explanations about them, you'll get reviews of different ones. So you can do your own research. You can use any artificial intelligence and ask it about password managers, and they'll give you comparisons and all kinds of things. You can also query it about passkeys and PIN numbers, and you'll get explanations about that if you need more explanation. AI, artificial intelligence, is also your friend. I use Microsoft's Copilot in creating this presentation. It was very helpful. You can also ask about password managers, passkeys, and PIN numbers. Both will remember what you search. Like if you've ever searched YouTube, you can go through your YouTube history, you can see everything you've ever watched on YouTube, which can be scary. But YouTube lets you delete your search history. AI doesn't. Well, YouTube lets you delete it, but is it ever really deleted? They say they delete it and they don't show it to you anymore, but it's still in there somewhere. You don't know. But AI remembers everything. From way back, from when you started using it, it remembers everything. I told it, yeah, we're in 2026, we're not 2024. I said, okay, I'll keep that in mind in our future interactions. So it remembers all those things. So I know, just use it with caution. And stay secure. That's about it. Any other questions? Yeah.
So Ken, when LastPass was hacked, did you have to reset your privacy information, or does the password managers have that ability to reset everyone? It's been
Well,
hacked.
I did immediately change my password, just my master password to get that, but see, the problem is, if they got the entire database, they got all of my logins. Now, if they can unencrypt that, like I explained, it's very thoroughly encrypted, and LastPass claims that they'll never unencrypt it and be able to access that information. But if they could, they've got every one of my logins. So I would have to change every one of those passwords to invalidate all that, which is over 800 passwords, and I'm not doing that. Anybody else?
If you're on a road trip
Oh.
and you stop at a hotel using their Wi-Fi, is there any security that you want to take using a unsecured Wi-Fi at a hotel?
Well, there's a lot of people will use a VPN, virtual private network, where you securely connect to a server somewhere that you choose. But today, I don't know that that's as big an issue. Unless you're using unsecured websites. Because I have no problem sitting in Starbucks and accessing my bank. Because if there's somebody there trying to intercept, I don't see people shaking their head, but that's true. People can intercept, they can capture the Wi-Fi, but if I'm connecting to my bank, and you always need to watch that, there's a lock on the address bar right next to the website address. There's a lock there. And if that lock is locked, that's secure. That means everything before it leaves your computer is encrypted and sent over the internet. So if somebody intercepts what you're doing, it's going to be thoroughly encrypted, and they're not going to be able to see what it is. So if somebody wants to look at all that gibberish, they can have at it. I don't care. Now, if you connect to a site that's not secure, and that lock isn't locked, it's open, then, yeah, you don't want to use public Wi-Fi. But if you feel more secure, a VPN is a way to go. There's maybe a couple others, but VPN is, you can buy those, they're all over the place, but you have to, there's some free ones, but they usually end up being slower than the ones you pay for. So.
On my phone, I have, my iPhone, I've got passcode. How's that different from passkey?
Pardon? You have a passcode? I think that's just a password, isn't it?
It stores the passwords, but is it secure like passkey?
I'd have to see it to understand what it is you're referring to. Because if it's just a password, then it's nothing like a passkey. And I can't imagine it's like a passkey. Anybody else?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, it takes you a lot of trouble to get into YouTube. You gotta use passwords and everything like that. And then somebody sends you, and he forwards the email. In fact, he forwards it to you. Do you have any kind of vulnerability opening that up?
I'm not,
You follow
I don't
me?
know what, no, I mean, YouTube and email,
Well, my friend goes to YouTube and picks up all kinds of things.
okay,
And then he emails those to me.
email's the link to the email,
Yeah.
to YouTube. Okay, yeah.
Do I have any kind of responsibility for vulnerability?
Probably not. YouTube, I don't know of any vulnerabilities in YouTube itself, and all of a sudden there's a link to a YouTube webpage. basically, so it's just, you know, there's the YouTube address, and then there's a unique key that relates to that video that he's wanting you to see. So, when you click on that, and it's just taking you to YouTube, and it's showing you that video. I don't think there's any vulnerability there at all.
Ken, in your presentation, you referred to Windows Hello. What is the Windows Hello feature?
Well, Windows Hello is a combination of some things, like your face recognition, your PIN number,
Fingerprint or.
a fingerprint reader, yeah, and I thought there was something else in there that I'm not recalling right now. There's a few things that they kind of lump into Windows Hello.
And is that on Windows 11?
Yeah, I think it was on Windows 10 too.
On Windows 10, okay.
So, I think everybody's well done. Have another question?
I just have a question about your passkeys. I mean, I get a thing, like the other day I was on Amazon, and it said, and I put in my, the password that I have for Amazon, and then it said something about, do you want to put this on passkey? And I went, I know, no thanks. But if I did that, then it's just gonna stick it in the thing and scramble it up, and so next time I go into Amazon, it will allow it again? Is that
Yeah, you won't have to put in your password.
anymore?
It'll have your passkey, your private keys will be stored in the secure area on your device. And
Okay, so-
Amazon will have a public key for equivalent to this.
Okay, so anytime, but it's only gonna be the apps that accept passkey, they'll pop up with a little pop-up saying passkey or something, and then that's when you'll say yes or whatever.
Right. And I'll ask you if you want to use passkeys, and
Okay,
say yes or
so
no.
not everything obviously possibly would have that, okay. So it is okay to do, I kind of was questioning.
Yeah, I was a little worried in the beginning too.
Yes, I think, I don't know if I want to, just like they always want to put stuff in your wallet. I'm thinking, I don't know if I want a lot of that stuff, but as time goes on, it's pretty obvious that it's the same. Okay.
Yeah.